Remember, you always pay less to drive the best at Autoland Hyundai.
Your health is more than just how you feel today. It's about staying well for the years ahead. At WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Primary Care, we're here to help you manage your health with regular checkups, screenings, and care that's tailored to you. With locations in Uniontown, Carmichaels, Connellsville, and Scottdale, it's easy to find care close to home. Visit wvumedicine.org/Uniontown today to find the primary care provider who is right for you.
Ready to update your home? Find what you need at Zen's Construction Warehouse. Their friendly, knowledgeable staff will be happy to help you the old-fashioned way. Zen's is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5:30, Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 2. 485 Walnut Hill Road in Continental. Zen's Construction Warehouse, 724-366-8274. Or visit Zen's Construction Warehouse's Facebook page.
Zen's Construction Warehouse, our surplus, your savings.
I'll tell you what, Fayette County, it's our time to stand up and take back our county and our country. The establishment elite, the career politicians, the swamp creatures in both parties, they have spent decades selling us out, making deals that benefit themselves and their donors, while the hardworking people of Fayette County and across America get left behind. They tell us to sit down, shut up, let them run things. They tell us, trust the system, but the system ain't working for us. It's working against us. Well, I've got news for them. We're not backing down. We're just getting started. We are the steel workers, the coal miners, the farmers, the small business owners, the first responders, and the families who built this nation with our bare hands. We work, we build, we sacrifice, and we don't need government bureaucrats telling us how to live our lives. They want more taxes. They want more regulations. They want more control. But we say no more. They want us divided, black against white, rich against poor, rural against urban. But we see through their lies. This movement, the MAGA movement, is all about us coming together as Americans. We believe in freedom over control. We believe in fair elections over corruption. We believe in jobs over handouts. We believe in family, faith, and country. And let me tell you, I ain't here to play politics. I'm here to fight for you. That's why I'm running for re-election as your recorder of deeds. Not to be another politician, but to be a watchdog against corruption, to protect your property rights, and to make sure the government is transparent and accountable. And I promise you this, after I win the recorder of deeds, I'm not stopping there. These establishment politicians have been bleeding you dry, raising taxes, playing political games with your money for far too long. I'm going to put an end to that. They'll try to smear us, silence us, call us every name in the book, but they will never break our spirit. We are MAGA strong, America first, and unstoppable. So Fayette County, are you ready to take back your government? Are you ready to send a message to the swamp that we the people are in charge? Are you ready to stand up, fight back, and win? Then let's get to work. Tell your neighbors, because the Hillbilly MAGA train is leaving the station and we're taking our country and our county back. Full speed ahead. God bless Fayette County. God bless Pennsylvania. And God bless the United States of America. And God bless President Donald J. Trump. I am John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of John Marietta and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Fayette County Recorder of Deeds Office or Fayette County government. This program is privately produced and funded, and no county resources are used for its production or promotion.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ain't nothing but a simple man. They call me a redneck, a reckon that I am, but this thing's going on, make me mad down to the core. I have to work like a dog to make ends meet. There's crooked politicians and crime in the street, and I'm madder than hell, and I ain't gonna take it no more. They tell our kids to just say no, and then some panty-waist judge lets a drug dealer go. He slaps him on the wrist and he turns it back out on the town. But if I had my way with people selling dope.
Hey everybody, this is John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly. And today's show is being brought to you by Miser's Garage and Tire Center, Mung's Auto Body, PatriotsOnline.com, Fayette County Recovery Storage and U-Haul, Country Motor Sales, JB Market in Dunbar, Gunslingers in Connersville, Tactical Civics, Solid Foundation Ministry, New Life Free Methodist Church, Highline Motorsports, Gun Owners of America, Hillbilly Jon Radio, John Marietta for We the People, Thundering Hills Feed and Supply, The Ink Spot, and the Fayette County Mega Patriots. We're going to get right to it. I got a caller on the line waiting. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. That's Ephesians 5:11. Well, folks, wake up and smell the corruption, because the mask is off, the gloves are off, and the swamp ain't hiding no more. You're listening to the Hillbilly Jon Radio Show today, and today we're throwing open the blinds and letting the sunshine hit the deep state rot right here in Pennsylvania. That's right, we're talking about the latest bombshell from constitutional attorney and freedom fighter Josh Prince. And if you haven't read it, take a gander over at blog.princelaw.com and check out An Awakening, Point 3, Deep State versus MAGA Movement, the battle for Pennsylvania's future. There ain't no conspiracy theory here, folks. This is a documented, detailed, and damning. What Josh is exposing is a coordinated effort by entrenched political elites from both parties, mind you, to silence, sideline, and smear the MAGA movement. We're talking about patriots who love this country, believe in the Constitution, and dare to challenge the establishment machine. They don't just want you to vote. They want your silence, your submission. And if you get too loud, they'll throw you off the ballot, cancel your committee seat, and slander your name in the press. This has all happened, folks. Believe it or not, it has. And God forbid you speak the truth on a podcast or call out some shady grant money, you'll find yourself investigated faster than Hunter Biden can lose a laptop. But not today. Today we're joined by Josh Prince himself, constitutional lawyer, fearless litigator, and one of the few still standing between we the people and a state government that's turned against its citizens. We'll talk about this article, the corruption he uncovered, and what the next steps are in this fight for the soul of our Commonwealth. And speak of patriots, let's take a time to shout out one of my favorite spots to refuel your body while we're here refueling the Republic. It's Fat Angelo's in Fayette City. Go give them go stop in and see them. I'm telling you, their food's good. It'll make you want to vote twice. In Fayette County, they might let you do that. Try the pizza. Get the wings. Shake the hand of the man behind the counter, because that's America we're still fighting for. Honest work, good food, strong families, and freedom on the menu every single day. So buckle in, folks, because because today ain't about playing nice. It's about telling the truth, calling out the crooks, and reminding the establishment that we are still here, we the people. So, with all that in a storm rolling in on my good friend Josh Prince, how are you doing today, sir?
Hey, John, doing well, and yourself?
Well, I'm kicking pretty high in the cotton here. I mean, I think I'm standing on top of the hill with the sun at my back.
That's good to hear.
But we're going to keep moving forward. And I did get to read most of your article twice, and I guess we got to start back. Where did this all start at, Josh? Where do you think this is all coming from to begin with? The state GOP and what they're doing to the people here, in all over the Commonwealth.
So, I don't know that I can pinpoint the exact time when it started. I will say that I am cognizant of the fact that a lot of the grassroots groups in that feel like it's been going on for what I'll say is a decade. At the same time, I also am aware that we've seen a dramatic shift since the new election for PA GOP chair that occurred earlier this year. And the difference from when Chairman Tabus was at the helm to when now Chairman Rothman is at the helm has been nothing short of a monumental shift. While there were plenty of concerns and dislikes, let me say, for the way in which Chairman Tabus ran the PA GOP, it was nothing of the ilk that we currently see with Chairman Rothman. And I believe that a lot of that was expected to be, that those who are part of the deep state wanted to ensure that the PA GOP would be controlled by the deep state. That's why they ran Rothman. And what's very interesting, and I detail this in my article, is how all this came to be. We had a candidate running for chair who was considered maybe not to be the ultra grassroots candidate. There were issues that even I disagreed with Ted Christians on, mainly pre-primary endorsements. But by and large, he was considered the grassroots candidate and a welcome reform to the PA GOP. A lot of the grassroots organizations understood that we couldn't expect to see monumental change in one election cycle, and that he would be, he being Ted Christians, a welcomed move forward towards embracing the grassroots patriot movement, the MAGA movement. Now, I will say this. If you currently go on the PA GOP Facebook page and you look at the posts and you know nothing more than those posts, you are probably going to think that the PA GOP is the most ultra-MAGA organization that exists. And unfortunately, that's all a facade. Especially with Rothman. I mean, even when he was running for chairman with Vice Chair Bernie Comfort, if you saw their campaign materials, you would believe, if you did not do any research, that they were the MAGA candidates, beyond MAGA candidates. I mean, everything they put out seemed MAGA, ultra MAGA. But that was never the case. And now, since becoming chair, we've seen exactly what that means in relation to the PA GOP, especially in relation to MAGA candidates. So again, if you look at the surface, you would think, okay, Pennsylvania GOP as MAGA as it comes, and yet what we're seeing is America First, MAGA committee members at the county level being removed based on bogus allegations that are not supportable legally, but unfortunately, we saw the Pennsylvania Supreme Court issue a decision in the recent years. It was Moan versus Bucks County Republican Committee et al., where in some senses, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court said that it would no longer get involved in what they referred to as intra-party conflicts. Basically, if there was an issue and it's basically just a family dispute, there wasn't going to be jurisdiction for the courts to hear it. Now, that decision has, in my opinion, been made to be far more than what it actually was. And shortly after I was not successful in the primary, I was asked to be involved in oral argument before the Commonwealth Court, which is a court that both I was running for and I have a lot of familiarity with, being in front of it a lot of times, and was asked to argue a case involving, once again, Bucks County as well as the Pennsylvania GOP, where they were arguing that even though there are state laws that require them to do certain things, in the PA GOP's opinion, it is above the law. And so I agreed to argue that case because of the fact that, for me, it isn't a matter of politics. It's a matter of the law. And they had not argued any type of constitutional argument that they should not be judged by this law. And in my opinion, even if they had, there are always limitations. There is no entity, in my opinion, that is above the Constitution or the law. And while there are clearly laws passed that are unconstitutional, I've litigated a bunch of them. In my opinion, this was not a situation that could be argued to be unconstitutional. And so I agreed to argue it, went in front of the Commonwealth Court, in under 3 minutes, dispelled all of the PA GOP's and Bucks County GOP's arguments as to why they were above the law. The Commonwealth Court was seemingly, or at least the panel that we were before, was very much in agreement. They had a lot of concern of any entity, as they should, being above the law. And that was exactly what the GOP was arguing, is that they were above the law, that there was no law that could apply to them. And their attorney, Matt Wolf from Philadelphia, literally made that exact argument that, hey, look, there are no laws that can apply to us. And I saw a couple judges on the Commonwealth Court's jaws drop, that someone could contend that no law could apply to them. When we look at, for example, judges, there is a situation where they have immunity in a lot of situations, but even there are situations where they are not above the law. There are requirements, just like campaign donation requirements if you're running for retention, things of that nature, they still have to comply with. There are also situations where a judge, let's just talk about the Luzerne County Kids for Cash situation, where a judge is clearly not above the law. And so the fact that the PA GOP and Bucks County GOP were arguing that they were completely there was never an occasion where they would not be above the law, was absolutely abhorrent to the court. And so I do expect that we will see in the near future a decision from the Commonwealth Court that will say that in that case, I should say, that no, they are not above the law. They were required to comply with the law, and that case involved a requirement by the Bucks County GOP to have to file their bylaws with the Board of Elections, and for those bylaws to be available to anyone who requested. Now, the reason the PA GOP was involved in that case was the fact that after determining that no proper bylaws were filed with the Board of Elections, a request was made to the PA GOP to basically force Bucks County GOP to file proper bylaws, and the PA GOP refused to do so, even though the state law requires any county GOP or Democratic committee to file their bylaws with the Board of Elections. And even though there was no contention of compliance, but beyond that, the PA GOP bylaws require compliance with state law. So let that sink in a second, that the PA GOP was literally contending that no state law could apply to it, at the same time that its own bylaws required it and its subsidiaries, meaning its county GOPs, to comply with the law. They've never filed a challenge basically in relation to the constitutionality of that law. They've never contended, even in this litigation, that that law is unconstitutional. And yet, that's where we found ourselves. So, being someone who is about the law, that will only ever uphold the laws written in the Constitution as intended, there not being any challenge, let alone a valid challenge, to the constitutionality of the law, I agreed to handle that case and argue it. And so this is really disconcerting because it's really the basis to what we see the current mentality of the PA GOP being. And that is one of basically that they are above the law in every regard, that there is nothing that can bind them, that there is nothing that can restrict them, and that is extremely disconcerting, especially given the fact that they are a nonprofit that has to comply with the nonprofit laws of Pennsylvania. So we do believe we're going to see a lot of challenges. We are seeing a lot of MAGA, America First candidates in those county committees, as I alluded to earlier, being removed from their positions based on false contentions of violations of county bylaws, provisions that do not provide what they contend they provide, and that are being used by the deep state to remove those who are America First. And it's really, really disconcerting when you look at the facts and the background of it. We have individuals who supported candidates who were Republicans in the primary that particular county was not in favor of, even though they were Republicans, and they want to remove them now. We see all sorts of other similar issues, including issues just simply where someone said, hey, look, I'm not sure I really like this Republican candidate. I'm thinking this Republican candidate may be the better candidate. And there were no endorsements. So it's really, as I said, disconcerting and concerning, because what seems to be the case is that we are trying, not we, but the PA GOP is trying to remove anyone who is America First, MAGA, from committee. And as I lay out in my article, I know why that is. It is what is forthcoming. It is what will occur in relation to the 28th presidency. We know that there are powers that be within the PA GOP that are currently powers that are part of the deep state that want to ensure that J.D. Vance is not our candidate and that Nikki Haley, who's a neocon, will be our candidate. I also know, as I allude to in my article, that those same powers want to ensure that Pennsylvania will be the first state to endorse in relation to that presidential election, and that they want to endorse Nikki Haley in an attempt to thwart J.D. Vance from getting a stronghold in support and endorsements throughout the United States.
Well, I really believe that this state GOP is losing its power little by little because of all the things that it's doing right now and all the things that are coming forward. And we know there's a governor's race coming up, and their candidate, their so-called candidate, has already bowed out. So they're looking for another candidate. We don't know where that's going to go to. We know that there's several I don't know, what do you want to say, rumors that we feel like that they're wanting to promote somebody from promote Stacey Garrity right now, but she hasn't said anything yet. But they are the state committee people are going around and trying to see what kind of reactions they're getting about that. We know what happened last time with this, and it didn't work out so well for the Republicans because they. And I'm sure Doug Mastriano is going to plan to run for governor also, and I think there's going to be 2 or 3 other candidates. But the grassroots people and Make America Great people are going to get behind someone that they feel comfortable with, and I'm just not sure who that's going to be just yet. I do know that that the worst thing you could probably do in a governor's race is have the state GOP endorse you, because look what happened last time. So I don't know. How are you feeling about this? But we do know that all around the state they're trying to take away. They're trying to get the MAGA people off out of the committees. They're trying to get anybody that's affiliated with Patriots or grassroots. They're trying to get them off the committees because they can't control these people. They have a voice and they're scared of them. They're
Right.
scared. They're scared of them. So I don't know. Well, how you feel about this right now?
So probably, about 6 months ago or so, there was an article saying that Stacey Garrity was going to run, and I had posted on my Facebook post that we all needed to get behind her. I do believe at that point that she was pretty much the only person who could successfully defeat Shapiro. Since then, we've seen Stacey seemingly sell her soul. She did a whole bunch of robocalls against the grassroots candidates that ran this cycle. And my understanding was that she did it for some benefit, because Stacey told me directly that she was not going to do anything for the establishment candidates that were endorsed this cycle. And yet she did these robocalls supporting those same exact establishment candidates. And it wasn't merely her supporting them, it was also her making false statements about them, their background, that they were the most qualified when they clearly weren't. And my phone started blowing up as soon as those robocalls started hitting. Quite honestly, I didn't believe it was her initially, because of my conversation with her, and she hadn't called me to say she had changed her opinion. I thought that this was AI generated. In the world we live in, we have to be cognizant of the fact that different things we read, we see, we hear could be AI generated. And I reached out. I did not get a response, but later got confirmation from others around Stacey Garrity that yes, in fact, she had. And it was based on her analysis of what would be helpful for her. And so what we now see is all of a sudden Dan Muser dropping out of the race. And that was surprising to a lot of people. And leaving, basically Stacey Garrity being the only candidate. Now we know that Mastriano's likely going to run. We also know that John Ventry is going to run. But as far as the PA GOP is concerned, especially based on the prior governor's race, the only one that is out there that they would consider endorsing is Stacey. And that's really disconcerting, because everyone who knows Stacey knows that she was the grassroots candidate. And everyone's been asking, why did she do this? Like I said, my phone was blowing up when all of a sudden those robocalls started hitting, and everyone was asking, all the grassroots organizations, the leaders of those groups saying, Josh, what's going on here? This is not Stacy. This is not who we know her to be. Can you shed any light on this? And I couldn't. I didn't understand. And like I said, I thought it was AI generated, but unfortunately it was not. And in fact, that's been confirmed. And it appears now, based on Dan Muser dropping out and everything else, that this was the deal that she struck with them, that she would sell her soul, basically throwing grassroots under the bus in exchange for her to get the endorsement of the PAGOP. And I could say, and I go over this in my article, that there are already a lot of calls by state committee to hold a special meeting in August to endorse in relation to the governor's race in 26, and that they want to endorse Stacy, and that a lot of the reason for doing such is to do it before anyone else enters the race. And as I understood it, Stacey Garrity was intending to announce her candidacy at Rally at the Rock this past Saturday, but unfortunately, due to the thunderstorms and it was apparently quite the spectacle with the amount of rain that came down in a short amount of time there at Rally at the Rock, she was unable to do so.
One of the things that I want to say about that was one of the biggest grassroots events that happened across the state, and it seems like now that the state GOP is trying to take it over. But there's going to be another event coming up this fall, and I can't think. It's right on the end of my tongue. Fire and Iron, or Iron out at it's somewhere out east. It's east and north a little bit, but that's going to be a big event this year. There's no doubt about it, because it's going to be pre-governor's race, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of grassroots people there. There always is. I think they get. Well, there's thousands there, and with the rainstorm happening, with what happened up at this last event, you often wonder, you often scratch your head and think God has a hand in everything, huh?
Very true. I will say, though, that the person who puts on Rally at the Rock, Doug McClinko, he is as ultra MAGA as ultra comes. That being said, as I put in my article, anyone who was on state committee and other select people received invites from the PAGOP to Rally at the Rock that would make you think that the PAGOP was putting on Rally at the Rock.
I'm glad
that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained that. I alluded to the fact, I just didn't have it. I didn't explain it. I'm glad you explained that, because that's what they did. That's exactly what the state GOP did.
But that's really, in relation to the article I put out, what the underlying theme of the article is. For any of your listeners that are Star Trek fans, Next Generation, it's very akin to the Borg. That basically assimilation is going to occur, at least as far as the PAGOP is concerned. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. And that is the mantra that the PAGOP is working through in relation to all the grassroots, patriot, true conservative groups. Let's be honest. Who is the PAGOP is nothing similar to what the true GOP is. They may speak a good line, and I grant you this. If you look at the Facebook page and other social media pages, you would think, as I said before a couple times now, that the PAGOP is as ultra MAGA comes, and that is not the case. And it's through this deception, these lies, the deceit that they are intending to take over, and they intend to assimilate the grassroots, the patriot, the true conservative members of the party at a level whereby at some point they will no longer realize that they aren't part anymore of what the grassroots, patriot, and true conservative movement is about. And unfortunately, I have to say, I have seen over the past 3 years that I've been involved in politics at that level, that there are a number of people who I truly believe join state committee really, truly looking to protect conservative values that get assimilated by the deep state, and they don't even know it. And you will see them now all of a sudden espousing things, and you're like, how is this possible? Because I knew you 2-3 years ago, and this is everything you were against, and now here you are espousing these things and making excuses for people like Stacey Garrity, making excuses for why they did the robocall to be able to run for governor. I'm sorry, that isn't acceptable. Those of us who are true to our roots will tell you that it doesn't matter what benefit may be inured to you. You either are true to the cause or you're not. And like I said before, Stacey Garrity was considered, myself included, as the grassroots candidate. And she's ran as that on multiple occasions. And I've supported her on multiple occasions. I supported her when it was just kind of rumor mill that she was going to run for governor. I said, no, we absolutely all need to get behind her because of what she stands for, and we need to make sure she runs. And now I'm in a situation where she's, going to run. I have no doubt about it. It's part of the deal that she's made. But she was willing to sell us down the river in order to get that benefit for herself. And so what that causes is anyone who is involved in politics or thinking for themselves to question is, well, if she'll do it in relation to this primary, when won't she do it? What else is she willing to compromise in relation to her political future? And what we've seen so far is now that she's willing to basically sell her soul for whatever benefits her.
You often think about all the things that happened in the revolution and how it would have been easy for people just to say, you know what, it'd be easier to turn over. It'd be easier to let turn over the people that was helping with the revolution, helping finance it and do these things, and then I would be able to enrich myself. And thank God that these men didn't do that. I often think about I call them longshoremen that helped evacuate Washington off of Manhattan Island and get it. These were great people, but one thing I always come back to, Josh. There was only 3% of us that fought in the revolution. 3% of the people that only fought in the revolution. So if they think they're going to stymie the grassroots movement, if they think they're going to take it over and they're going to make us, how do I want to say it? You're very much, but I mean, if they're going to try to take us over and try to force us to follow their lead over and over again, we're done with that. We're done with that. We can't be led blindly ever again into something. We have to do our homework. We have to try to figure out who the best candidate is, and that's who we need to get behind. I mean, I'll be the first to admit that I've been fooled twice, and with candidates, and I'm very cautious now, and I'm sure, and you're the way you are now too, that it's made you step back and take a deep breath before you jump on to something right away.
Absolutely. And I mean, I can't think of a better example than Stacey Garrity, because I was, all in supporting her and always have. And with what she did in this recent primary, there just, in essence, is no forgiveness. She won't even acknowledge it. She won't even address it. It's just like it's acceptable because that's just politics. And that's everything we stand against. No, it's not just politics. You cannot just sell your soul for whatever benefits you if you want our support. And unfortunately, that seems to be lost on a lot of politicians who just expect our blind support. So I really hope that all your listeners will do their due diligence. And as I said in my article, all I ask of people is for them to do their own research, keep their mind open, not have an opinion either way, and decide whether the actions of a particular person comports with their morals, with their ethics, with who they are and what they expect of their elected officials. And if so, and you're going to support them, all the more power to you. But we really need to take ourselves out of the equation where we have friendships, relationships with people, and because of those relationships, we make decisions that aren't consistent with our own ideals.
I agree with you 100%. I appreciate it. I mean, I don't know where we're headed to with this, because it's like you said, Mastriano is probably going to throw he's definitely going to try to run again. I mean, if I was a gambling man, I would bet on that. And it looks like Stacey Garrity. I think there's going to be somebody. Hopefully, somebody rises, and comes to the. How do I want to say it? Comes to the. I want to say to the aid of the Republican Party to help win this next election, because it's obvious that Josh Shapiro is planning on running for president, or at least vice president. And if it hadn't been for some lawsuits that he was involved in, I really felt that he would have been their candidate this time. But he was entangled up in a bunch of different things, and that's the reason why he backed out at the last minute.
I have a little bit of a different perspective on that. I think it was actually Josh Shapiro, who has not lost ever an election bid, who said he did not want to be the VP. I think he saw the writing on the wall that Kamala was not going to be successful, and he did not want to be involved in an unsuccessful vice presidential bid.
Yeah, I can agree with that too. I can, because that makes a ton of sense. But
he's no dummy. I mean, like I said, he's won every single election he's run for. So we got to keep that in mind. And I know that he's always intended to run for president at some point in time. So running for president, being unsuccessful at one point in time, wasn't going to help him. I truly do believe that he told Kamala that he didn't want to be her VP.
Well, there was, let's face it, she wasn't going to be president. We all knew that, and the grassroots people were all behind President Trump, and that's what got him elected. There's no doubt about it. I mean,
Exactly.
I mean, it was the mega part of the Republican Party that got him elected. It was the Liberty part of the Republican Party that got him elected, and we have to start thinking about it, all the different things that happened at that time. But anyways, is there anything? I got about 30 seconds left. Is there anything you want to lay on me before we take off?
No, just for any of your listeners that haven't gone to blog.princeall.com, please do, because I lay out the 5 parts of their plan of how to basically destroy the Pennsylvania Republican Party through the deep state, and I think you'll find it really informative.
Yeah, it is. And it's an easy read. He put it in the kind of language anybody can understand. So here we go. On this road called life, you have to take the good with the bad. Smile with the sad, love what you got, remember what you had. Always forgive, but never forget. Learn from your mistakes. People change, things go wrong. Just remember, the ride goes on. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. I am John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly.
Your local station, WMBS Uniontown.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Christopher Cruz. Investigators are still searching for the cause of last night's horrific fire at